The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Miss Mary Simmons. Chapter 26. Lost in the Cave. Now to return to the share of Tom and Becky in the picnic. They danced along and passed with the rest of the children, visiting all familiar wonders of the cave, such as Aladdin's Palace and the Castle Hall. When the game of hide and seek began, Tom and Becky played until they lost interest in it. Then they wandered down winding passages, holding their candles up and reading the network of names, dates, and address done in candle smoke on a rugged walls. They went on and on, smoked their own names under an overhanging shelf and proceeded. Presently, they come to a place where a little stream of water had, throughout the century, formed a filmy waterfall in sparkling stone. Tom pressed his small body behind it to light it up for Becky, and found that it hid a sort of steep, natural stairway, enclosed between narrow walls. At once, the ambition to be a discovered seized him. They made a smoke mark of future guidance and wound this way and that far down into the depth of the cave. In one place they found hole, a wide hole from the roof of which he of, of which hung a great number of shining white pillars of stone. After wondering and admiring, they left it by one of numerous passages that opened into it. This soon brought them to a lovely spring, the basil of which seemed to be discovered with sparkling diamonds. It was in the midst of a cave where great columns rose off the floor to meet those from the roof. Some had already joined. The children marveled at this result of the ceaseless water drip of century. Under the roof beds had packed themselves together thousands of a bunch, and they came flocking down in hundreds, dashing furiously at the candles. Tom seized Becky's hand and hurried her into the first passage they came to, and by turning into every new passage they at last got rid of troublesome creatures. Then Tom found an underground lake which stretched away until Its shape was lost in the shadows. He wanted to explore its boundary, but decided that it, will, it would be best to sit down and rest for a time. Now, for the first time, the stillness of the place lie laid is damped and cool hand upon the mind, the minds of the children. I wonder how long we've been down here, Tom, said Becky. We'd better go back. Yes, I think we'll better. Can you find the way, Tom? It's all mixed up to me. I think I can find it, but the best mm, if they put out both our candle will will be in an awful difficulty. Let's try some other way. They stared off along a passage, looking at each new opening to see if there was anything familiar about it, but they were all strange. Oh, Tom, never mind, the best, said Becky at last. Let's go back that way. We seem to get worse and worse all the time. Tom stopped. Listen, said he. The silence was so deep that even their own breathing seemed loud. Tom shouted. The shout went echoed down the empty avenues and died out in the distance in a faint sound that was just like mocking loud laughter. Oh, don't do it again, Tom. It's too horrid, said Becky. It's horrid, but I'd better, Becky. They might hear us, you know? And he shouted again. The might was even the greater horror than the ghostly laughter. It's confessed that hope was dying. They listened, but there was no result. Tom turned back, but soon a certain indecision, 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 indecision in his manner revealed another fearful face, fearful fact. To Becky, he could not find his way back. Oh, Tom, you didn't make any marks. Becky was Becky. I was a fool. No, I can't find the way. It's all mixed up. Tom, Tom, we're lost. We're lost. We can never get out of this awful place. Oh, why we leave the others? She sank to the ground and burst into such a dreadful storm of tears that Tom feared that she might go mad. When her weeping became a little less violent, he begged her not to give up hope. Then he began blaming himself. She told him not to talk like that again, for she was as much to blame as he was, she said. So they moved on aimlessly, for all they could do was to keep moving. After a time, Tom took Becky's candle and blew it out. Words were not needed. She knew that Tom has a whole candle and 3 or 4 pieces in his pocket, yet he must use as little as possible. Then the children began to feel worried, but they tried to pay no attention. Moving was at least progress and might have a good result, but to sit down was to invite certain death. At last, Becky's weak limbs refused to carry her any further. They sit down, they talk to home, they talk of home, of the friends there, and above all, of the sunlight. Weariness weighed so heavy on Becky that she fell asleep, and Tom was grateful. He sat lost in thought of happier time. When Becky woke up, she gave a gay little laugh, but she stopped it suddenly, and a groan followed. Oh, how could I sleep? I wish I had never worked. No, no, Tom, I don't. Don't, don't look so. I won't say that again. They rode and wandered along, hand in hand and hopeless. A long time after this, Tom said that they must go quite quietly, and and listen and listen for dropping water, because they must find a spring. They found one, and Tom said that they might rest again. Both were cruelly tried, yet Becky assured that she could go on a little further. She was surprised to hear Tom disagree. Nothing was said for some time. Then Becky broke the silence. Tom, I'm so hungry. Tom took a big coke. Tom took a big cake from his pocket and divided it. And Becky ate with good appetite. Tom pretended to ease his chair. There was an abundance of cold water with which to finish the food. Soon Becky suggested that they should move on again. Tom was silent. Tom was silent, and then he said, Becky, we must stay here where there's water to drink. Its little piece of candle is out last. Becky cried again. At length she said, Tom! Well, Becky, they'll miss us and search for us. Perhaps they are searching for us now. Why, of course they are. When would they miss us, Tom? When they got back to the boat, I suppose. Tom, it might have been dark then. Would they notice that we hadn't come? I don't know. Anyway, your mother would miss you as soon as they all got home. A frightened look in Becky's face made Tom remember she was not to have gone home that night. The Sunday morning might be half spent before Mrs. Harper discovered that Becky was not at Mrs. Harper. In a moment, a new burst of grief from Becky showed Tom that the thought in his mind had struck her also. The children fastened their eye upon the bit of the soul. The little flame rise and fall, rise and fall, and then suddenly the horror of utter darkness enveloped them. How long afterwards it was that Becky woke to find herself crying in Tom's arms. Neither could tell. Tom said that it might be Sunday or perhaps Monday, or perhaps Monday. The hour or Saturday now. The hour he proposed he proposed to explore by and again another passage, and again he felt willing to risk Joe and all other terrors. But Becky was so weak Tom's share of the cake was divided and eaten, but it seemed to leave them hungrier than before. Where she was presently, Tom said, "It would not be long." Did you hear that? She told Tom to explore if he should, but she begged him to come back from time to time and speak to her. She made him promise that when her last hour came, she would stay by her, and told her and hold her hand until all was over. With a lump in his throat, Tom pretend, Tom pretended to be confident of finding the searchers or a way out of the cave, and with the kite string in his hand went crawling down one of the passages, sick with hunger and sorrow. The vision of their coming